Hello, I'm Dr. Albanese with Albanese Chiropractic, where our mission is to help as many families and individuals as possible create healthy lifestyles and reach optimal health through chiropractic. Now, today's Wellness Wednesday health video is about what body measurements are important to you and what they can tell you. So body measurements can be your waist circumference, your BMI, your waist to hip ratio, your waist to height ratio. All of these measurements are geared to tell you how much fat you have and lead you to determine what type of fat you have in excess. So basically, fat is stored in two areas. It's either subcutaneous, the fat under the skin. Now, that's the fat that when you can pinch your belly, that's subcutaneous fat. Now, if you go to pinch your belly and it's very firm, it's hard, you can't pinch a lot of fat, but yet you have a larger belly, that's a sign you have more visceral fat. This in excess is the more unhealthy fat. Visceral fat can be found around your belly, your hips, your buttocks, also around the organs, like your intestines, your liver, your pancreas, your heart. And when that fat is found in excess, you have a greater chance of metabolic conditions, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all-cause mortality. In fact, the Harvard nurses study followed 44,000 women for 16 years and found when women had a waist circumference greater than 35, they had twice the chance of developing heart disease. They also had greater incidence of all-cause mortality, of cancer, of diabetes. This study found that when a woman's waist circumference was less than 28, their chances of those conditions decreased dramatically. Now, this study was also repeated in the Shanghai Women's Study, and the findings were very similar. So let's talk about what body measurements you can look at to determine, do I have more subcutaneous fat or visceral fat? Do I need to look at losing weight, or am I in a healthy ratio, which means I have a healthy ratio of visceral and subcutaneous fat? So a great way and an easy way to determine this is looking at your waist to hip ratio. So when you take your waist to hip ratio, it can help determine if you have a greater amount of visceral fat versus subcutaneous fat. Now, when you take this measurement, your waist circumference basically goes just above your belly button, halfway between your hip and your bottom rib, just above your belly button. You look at that measurement in inches, and now you look at the widest part of your hips in inches, and now you divide your waist into your hips to see what the ratio is. And if that ratio for women is greater than 0.8 or greater than 0.9 in men, that means you have a greater amount of visceral fat. That is the unhealthy fat. That's when you want to look at your diet. Foods like highly processed foods, sugary drinks and foods, higher amounts of high fructose corn syrup, processed foods, fast foods, alcohols. How much of those types of foods are you consuming? Because that in excess will be stored as visceral fat. Now, none of those foods are really healthy. We should try to eliminate them. But if you eat a lot of that, start by decreasing the amount of those foods. Substitute them for healthy lean proteins, healthy fiber-rich foods like fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. These are the type of foods that are going to be more conducive to healthy fats, because any fat in excess is going to be stored, and we should be using fat for energy. But when we're consuming higher caloric foods as opposed to higher nutritiously rated foods, we're going to store that as fat. And that is going to be visceral fat, the unhealthy fat. So take a look at your ratio, and especially this time of year, right? We're heading more towards the beginning of January, when everybody's making New Year's resolutions. this is a good time to set up your goals and say, okay, I want to lose weight. How can I go about that? Well, take a look at your ratios, your body measurements that will help to determine, do I need to focus on losing visceral fat? When you do that, your health will improve, your energy will improve, your sleep will improve. A whole host of changes will take place. Mainly, you increase longevity. You increase the quality of life and quality of health. So take a look at this body measurement, your waist to hip ratio, and determine where you are, if you're in a healthy ratio or an unhealthy ratio, and that will start to cue you into where you need to focus your lifestyle changes. So I hope you found this helpful, and I would ask that you please share this with other people, like it, subscribe to our channel, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to our videos. Until next time, have a great day and be well.